So here we are with the dual cab, and we thank you for purchasing a dual cab. And I'm just going to run you through the like a handover, all the ins and outs of the camper. So we'll start at the front here and we'll work our way around. On the front here we've got the Anderson plugs on the front. We've got three here, one's solar, one's car, one's emergency. So I've got the car plugged in here at the moment. If I want to plug solar in, I'll plug it into the solar one here. Now you just got to make sure if you've got a solar blanket or a solar kit that you'll buy, what will happen is they'll usually come with a regulator. You must not connect the regulator after the solar to come into here, because if you've optioned up for a Red Arc BMS system in the camper, the BMS system actually does everything for you. So it actually has got the reg in it. So the same with the car. If you've got your car set up, I've got this one actually connected straight to the cranking battery, and with that there, through a resettable fuse, then the BMS in here is going to know that there's actually a car connected to it, because it needs 13.5 volts to make it kick in. If you have got a BC-DC unit underneath your bonnet or charging a second battery, you can't go through that. You must go off your cranking battery, because the BC-DC unit won't tell the BMS in here that there's a car there, so just be careful of that. We've got the diesel tank on the front here. Just don't fill it all the way up. You only need to really fill it about half full to 3/4. It's got enough in there for a couple of months travelling really. So that runs a fair way across. Your serial number is stamped into the 50 to 50 box section on the front of the camper on the other side there. This is how we actually strap it down, or you can go down to your chassis if you want to, if your rope rails are not strong enough. I'm just going to remove this now, just so you can actually see where the water system and stuff like that is. I'll just put it down there. Okay, here we've got the water filler. I'll just open up in here and I'll remove the connection, which actually pushes onto there, then put your normal garden hose onto your tap. When you fill in the main tank, make sure you do not turn it on and walk away. If you do, what will happen, you'll split your tank. You must keep an eye on it. There's a sight glass on the inside of here, just a clear sight glass. When it gets just close to the bottom of that draw runner there, just shut it off, because your tank's going to be full then. Now, there is an air breather up here, but it's running the same tube size as this, and if you don't keep an eye on it and you do pressurise it to town water pressure, all these fittings and all that's not designed for that, and you'll just do some damage. Okay. To release this fitting here, all it is a grey clip on the front here. So all you got to do is just push the grey clip back and then pull it off, and that's how it's a quick release fitting. The same fitting you can use for the water system if you want to suck from a creek. We're right beside a creek here. If I wanted to, I could run a hose down to the creek there and suck from the creek. To do that, just turn that tap off. That bottom tap actually goes to the bottom of the tank, your 130 litre tank. Now turn that one off, and the reason why you turn it off, so you don't just drain all your water out. And then pop this elbow off here, get this fitting here, and just put into the centre tap there. Run your hose down to the creek, and then you're using the pump inside the camper to actually suck from there, and you can have as long as shower as you want. And when you go to leave, you can actually use the pump inside the camper to suck from the creek and actually fill your tank. Just inside of here there is a tap in here just above your Red Arc system. Now it's in the off position at the moment. Just with all these taps here, if the tap is in parallel with the hose, it means it's on. If it's against the hose at 90 degrees to the hose, that means it's off. Okay, so just above your Red Arc is a tap there, and then if we push that parallel with the to the hose, you can hear the pump kick in there now, and it's all it did was just using the pump, and it's pushing water straight into the main water tank. So that's it on the front here. When you're finished, just pop that off, and then put that elbow back onto there, and then turn your tap on, and then you're back sucking from your main water tap. Down here we've got the exhaust for the hot water system. We'll run through that a little bit further when we get inside the camper. Just here we've got a tap also. We can actually turn that on and get a drink of water, wash your hands. I find this really handy, this little tap, and that's just right on the floor on the camper, just in front of the red BMS system. This particular camper here, we've actually cut the drawers back so we can actually fit the aircon unit and the 2 kVA Jenny here. The aircon will sit here, just down in this. It's a portable aircon we do have as an optional extra. Or you can have a Weber Q and stuff in this compartment here. You can carry your legs in this compartment at the front here, just to protect your red arc system so they're not bouncing around. And also there's no movement that can damage your batteries, because your batteries are just in behind there. This has got the lithium in it. I've set this camper up just with the 1 lithium. Now they do come standard with the 1 AGM. If you have optioned it up for the 2 AGMs, would fit the 2 in there. Usually that drawer would come right out to here, same as this drawer here, but with this setup here we've cut that drawer back so it's a little bit shorter. These 2 drawers are 2-way, so you can access them inside and outside. Okay. Just when you are sliding these drawers out, that's just press the button that unlocks it. Once you slide it out, get out what you need. But when you're sliding it back in, just make sure you lock it, okay? That'll stop it from bashing against the door here and marking the door, and could open the door. The way I travel, depending on where I'm going, if I'm doing the Simpson, Cape York or whatever, usually I'd leave the legs at home. They're 14 kilo each, they are quite heavy, so if you're not going to take it off the back of the ute, leave them at home, and that gives you a bit more space down in here. Down in this compartment also, even if you've got the standard drawer in here out to there, you can actually fit the porta potty where the generator is sitting there. Unfortunately it's the smallest porta potty on the market. It's 305 high, but it's the only one that fits down in there. 240 volt lead for your red arc system, that's there. All you do is just run your lead across, plug it into there. You can leave the lead just in the door on your seal and just close your door, and it's going to just compress the rubber there. So that's all you do in this one here. Up in here above your batteries, there's no real need for you to get in there and touch anything, but there is resettable fuses there to protect the system and all that. There is one there which is a big black one with a red button on it. That's the earth linkage, 100 amp earth linkage, which actually kills the power to the whole camper. So no real need to touch that unless you, or if we freight a camper to WA or whatever, we will kill the power, so batteries are good when it gets to the other side. So that's it in this area here. Here we've got the light switch, which activates this one, but this one here is only a white light. It's not a bug light like the other ones, okay? Like I said, all the legs down in there. Now, with the manual side of things, we do supply you with a manual override. That goes into the back of the ram there. Just push it in, and then you can just manually wind the camper up or open, okay? It's easy as that. It'll take you about a minute to actually wind it out, doing it through that process. Up in here we've got the remote control switch. Now up here you only flick it to remote control to use it. As soon as you've used it, turn it off. Do not leave it running all the time, okay? So only turn it on to use it. As soon as you've used it, turn it off. If you flick the switch away from you, that's going to go to manual, and then you can actually use the toggle switch beside it. Now that one there is a spring loaded one. You can actually go back and forwards with that. That will override the remote control, okay? So if you lose your remotes or your batteries go flat in your remotes and all that type of thing, okay? But that's it there. Now if you're using the manual shaft, you don't have to have those switches in any position. position, okay? That's just a direct drive into the back of the actuator. You've got storage and all that in there, and it also comes with a torch which goes in there as well. Oh, you can put it in the kitchen area where this one is. That's for your shower, we supply that as well. So we'll just come around the back here. And on the back door, we've got 3 catches on the back door. So you've got one on either side and one in the centre there. Okay, so and that just pops up. And then that brings you into the kitchen area here with the carbon fibre one, a special build one here. We have added a couple of things. We've got the water filters here, monitor, and it'll actually send an alarm if it clogs up. But that's only filtering the water to your sink here. This here we've got the Fusion portable in here. It's just a new thing out in the market. You can option it up in your campers, but it does come standard in the new carbon fibre one. This one here, it's actually removable, so you can take it out, you can put it into your boat, whatever, or take it over the campfire. But it is rechargeable. It'll last up to 20 hours, I think, on the battery, and it floats and waterproof. But just powering on.
Welcome.
Yeah, so it'll do AM,
FM, USB, Bluetooth.
Up here we've got the switch panel, and with the blue lights on it means you're getting power through to it. But up above here, if there's no blue light and then you've got it switched on, these are resetables, just press them and that will reset. So that's all that there. We've got heater, lights, freshwater pump, fridge, spare. Now up here we've got cigarette socket. We can plug it, USB or whatever into there. In this particular camper, the carbon fibre one, we've actually put another 2 up inside of here, which is a cigarette socket and twin USB. So that's if you get this one. With the Evercool up here, we've got it turned on at the moment, so it's running. I've got it set at about minus, usually it's around about minus 13, 14, so and that's just controlled here up and down. So when you've got your fridge, would have set this so around it in your fridge compartment would be about 2 degrees, so there's not really much to do there. Okay? And then when you turn it on and off, you just turn it on and off from there, so not up on there. With the red arc system here, we actually, I'm not going to go into it in detail with you. With your unit there, easiest thing is just scroll up and down, just the arrow up and down, that'll go through the main screens of it. We'll go to the first screen. It's got no charge in it, touring, and it's 13.3 volts in there, it's 19 degrees Celsius. You can change it from touring to storage. It'll tell you on the screen here, just a right arrow, and just arrow up to storage, and then next, and it'll store it. We're going to leave it on touring because we're travelling at the moment, so confirm. We'll go to the next screen. This will actually show you what you're actually drawing, how much you're using and stuff like that. Now that compressor's running in the fridge here at the moment, it's around about 3.4 amps because it's 0.2 of an amp running other stuff. So at the moment, as in the BMS, there's nothing coming out of the BMS, so there's no charge coming out of it. We've got a load on it, which is to the light bulb thing there, which is your load, your fridge and all that. So there's 3.4 amps coming off our battery there, we can see. The main screen that you should always check is this one here, so it's 3 clicks in, so 3 arrows up. Even if you plug your car in, start your car up and just check it after a while, make sure this has gone black. At the moment, see it's showing up 11.8 volts I've got there, but that's my cranking battery, and but when it's running, that actually should go black, so because it needs to get up to 13.5 volts to kick in the BMS. So must check that and make sure that's right, and same as if you plug it in 240, that one there should be black and it'll come up volts over here and a green light will come on here. So just check those things, and solar as well, just make sure it's lighting up black there. If it's not black, it's not going to be working. Up here it gives you the condition of your batteries, saying 82% in the batteries there. Just go off the percentage margin. This one's got the lithiums. I can drag it down a lot further than your AGMs and stuff like that. These red arc systems do have the profile for the lithiums, the AGMs and gel and all that. So we'll have that all set in your camper. But with the percentage margin one, just work on that percentage margin. If you've got AGMs in your camper, just only go down about 40%. Try not go any lower than that. If you do, you're going to cause damage to your batteries and shorten the life of them. This one down here is saying 18 hours until flat. This is a false reading, so best off not to go off this reading here, because if there's a load on there, it's going to actually give you, like that's 19 hours, so I know I can sit a bit longer than that on this camper here. Now, I don't think that should be up on the screen here, but it is. If I turn off the loads and the freshwater pump, now this says it's gone 1 day until flat, 2 days until flat, it'll just keep going up and up and up. But as soon as you've got a load on there, it'll just totally go way back the other way. So we're at 8 days until flat, 10 days until flat. So if you've got no load here and you're sitting in a chair and you'll see that there, you'll go, oh, I've got plenty of days, but you haven't. Okay, I'm going to turn that back on. We've got all the cutlery in here, we've got all the knives and stuff like that. Just make sure that nothing's out too far. It's going to actually scratch on the backboard here and stuff like that. With that the way it is, you can actually fold that down and access water if you want to without folding the kitchen out. Otherwise, we're going to fold the kitchen out in a minute and we'll show you all that. Over here, we'll throw this out. Kitchen gets lowered down, just got the catch up on top. I always just make sure I've got hold of it when I'm doing that. Lower it down and then just lock it into the rubber stopper here. Okay. Once you've done that, you can actually drop this down. And that hangs down like that. Okay. The cooker slides out. Now, once you've got this out, you do have to put the grills on top, which I usually store up in here. And they're when you get the camper, they will be in a canvas bag. So they just go into there. Okay. Easy as that. Pushing down. Now, once it's on there, now all you do is just get the lighter, put it down through there, turn it on and light the thing and away it goes. With these here, you have to have them in the off position to actually access inside. So it's just push a button here and then just lift it up. A couple of matches from last night. These have got metho in them, but these here are not pressurised or anything. They're actually just refills. Once you to access them, just pop the canister out. Remove the clips on it. Once the metho's in there, like there's metho inside there at the moment, it won't drip out or anything. It does tell you on the side of here how to fill it. So all you do is tip it on an angle like that and tip your metho into it. Once you just get a little bit of residue there, you know it's full. Just clear that excess out. And once it's in there, it won't come out at all. Don't fill it inside of here. If you do, you're going to spill metho and then you're going to create a fire. Okay? Just we'll pop that back in there. And we'll shut that back down. Now they will take around about a litre of metho, roughly. So that gives you an idea. With your sink, your flick mixer, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's there, and it's just on, off, and your hot and cold water in there. As soon as you flick the tap on, the pump will kick in automatically. And also if you've got the hot water system running, it'll actually push the hot water through to there. It'll take a little bit longer to get the hot water to there because the hot water's up the other end, right near the shower, so we don't waste water with the shower side of things. We do supply cutting board to go in there as well, so if you're preparing food you can drop the cutting board in there and use it as a preparation. And that's all cutting board as well, that there, okay? So we'll just move around to the fridge area. We've got a bungee cord on the side of here. That there, just put it on when you're travelling. It's more of a safety thing, so you don't, the door doesn't pop open at all. But we'll just reposition here, just to show you the catch on the fridge. The catch on the fridge, we've just got to push one part over to the side and then grab hold of the other part. So that there, all you do is just push that part there across. I just use my thumb, go across and then grab hold of that part there and then open it up, and that's it. Now that's a 92 litre fridge freezer from Evron. They specially built it for us, and that's all on the tray there. And same thing again, if you're travelling, just have that clip onto there. So a lot of room in it, and the freezer up here. As you can see, we've got ice build up here. We've been going for a while, and you do get the ice build up there. It is not a frost-free fridge, okay? And Evercool suggests after, if you've been travelling for a while, just shut your fridge down for a few hours just to let it defrost and then turn it back on. That's it. Tray can be removed out of the fridge here if you want to. I find it handy if I go home. It's just a clip either side. You got one will go up and the other one will go down. Just flick them up and then pull the whole tray out, and then you can take the tray upstairs into your fridge and then pack your fridge at home from being away. You've got everything in here. This is quite light on in the pantry here at the moment. It should be full, and I actually carry the water bladders or the wine cask, and that way if you're travelling and if you do get a little bit low, you can actually blow them up and take out all the movement in the kitchen. You don't want any of this stuff just bashing around if you're doing some serious full drive. And up here we've got the lights. This one here is a white light, and it's also a bug light as well, so at night time for cooking and that, it's a lot better. So you can have the two of them running, like bug and white, if you want to, just to make it a little bit brighter. So that's about it in the rear here, except for the water filling here. That's your under tank, okay? To fill and drain this under tank, on the dual cab here, it's 50 litres under tank. And to fill and drain that tank, you must have the front of the camper at the highest point. The front of the camper band closest to the cab of the truck. So just put your two front tyres up to the highest point, up on blocks or whatever, and you can just run and fill that. The breather for this is actually on the front, and you'll see water coming out the box section at the front there. Same thing again with this tank as well as the main 130 litre tank. Don't fill it and walk away from it. It's a fiberglass tank, and if you're pushing a heap of water in there under pressure, it's just going to crack the flange, okay? So just make sure not trying to push a heap in, and just stay here, and as soon as you can actually see a bit of water drip coming out the front, shut it off, okay? And to drain that, you can actually, same thing again, just have the front of your car at the highest point. If you want to suck the water from this tank underneath here and put it into your main tank, that middle fitting where I said you can suck from a creek, you can put your hose on there, bring it around, put it onto there as well. Put your car up the highest point, like the front at the highest point. Use the pump inside, turn the tap on above where your red arc is, and then you can actually suck the water from this tank and then transfer it into your main tank, okay? So that's all that. I'm going to close this kitchen up. I'll just show you how I close it up, and then we're going to do an open up. So just when you go to fold the kitchen up, you just have to remove them, okay? Put them up in there. I'll just fold that down. One thing I didn't touch on is you can actually remove this cooker, okay? With this here, you just push that yellow lever down, and on the other side here you got a little black clip. And so that black clip on that side, I'll push it down and this down, and that'll allow me to actually go past the stoppers, and I can take that out and I can take it around the side. Like if you set your camper up, you might set it up so the wind's blowing this way. When you first set up, you wake up in the morning, the wind's blowing this way, the cooker's in the wind. So you can take it around the corner, or you can take it inside as well. Okay? So it is removable, so it makes life a lot easier. So this camper here has no gas in it at all. Okay? We don't have any gas in the new model campers. We've cut down on weight, and also with the gas cooker, like we used to have in the campers. What used to happen there is it's fixed, you can't move it, so it's no good. So with our gas cookers, just push it all the way home when you've relocated those bearing tracks in there. With the gas cookers, they used to be positioned here, the wind you buggered. Okay, so I'll fold this up and just go up like that. Just make sure that's above the centre door catch there. Just take it out of the position there. Water will leak out here because I just had that little bit in the sink there. With your drain here, what we usually do is carry a collapsible bucket. In the trundle tray here, I've got a collapsible bucket because we're trying to keep everything small. Some people want to put a hose on there and put it away, but then you're walking over a hose and it's one more thing you've got to roll up. It's up to you, but that's what I do, a collapsible bucket, drop my water into it, and then you can discard your water away from your camp, and you haven't got water dripping around your camp and stuff like that. So we'll put that back into there. I'll close this up, and I'm just going to show you how I usually close the camper up. That's that. When we go to open the camper up, I'm usually the one driving the car, so I hop out of the driver's car door. I usually leave the remotes in the door, or one remote, and I'll leave the other one in the glove box as a spare. I'll come out of the car door, I'll come along here and I'll actually pop off these two catches. The dual cab model has only got the two catches on the side of here, and the single cab has got three along here. Once I've done that, I'll actually open this up because we need to access the remote control switch. Just flick that to remote control, that powers up the receiver, so it'll actually talk to this thing here now. Once I've done that, I'll come around here. You can leave that door up if you want then. I'll pop these two catches off of here, and that one as well. I'll pop the rear door open because once I've done that, Julie can get in here, she can fold the kitchen out and stuff like that, and she can start preparing food and whatnot. Otherwise she can fold the camper out and I'll prepare the food. We can fold this down, but I'll leave that up for now just so you can get a good visual of it. With that there, she can access all this while I'm folding the camper out. It's a one-person operation, you don't need two people to fold the camper out. And the other good thing about this, because it's so easy to fold out, I can get a beer out and still fold the camper out. Now that's a go, isn't it? I'll leave that to wait. But Julie can get in here, she can get a wine out or whatever and start preparing stuff. Now there is one more catch on the camper, which is at the front of the camper, same position as this one up here. So just make sure that you get all the latches. You know, once you have checked all the latches and you know definitely you got them all, it's just a matter of pressing the button and away it goes. Okay? I don't usually do too much when it's folding out like this. There's only a couple of things I'll show you. You have to be careful about it's going up and over. One big main thing is the doors. You can see the actual doors of the tent are actually open. You must not have the camper opening and closing with the doors zipped up. The reason being for it is if you do have that door zipped up, at this point here it's actually trying to pick up that first hoop. And if you've got that door zipped up, you'll put too much pressure on the sail trap down here and you'll pull it out of the floor and you'll tear the canvas. It is over 180 degrees, so that's why you must have the doors unzipped when you open and close the camper. So we'll just keep going a little bit further. Other couple of things is I just make sure that the canvas is over the edge here and not over this catch here. You must not have it like that or you will tear the canvas, okay? So just put it over that catch as well, okay? Keep them going a little bit further. The other point is when it's on the back of the ute, depending on the size, tray size you've got and everything, you can't have anything outside the side of the camper because when this lid comes down, it's actually going to be down here and you'll actually hit the side of the camper and what will happen then, you're just going to put a hole in the side of the camper. Not going to be good for you. So I'm going to go around the front and I'm just going to do exactly the same thing as what I have on the back here. But on the front, you've got the F bracket as well, you just got to look at it. So we'll just reposition, we'll go around the front here and just make sure that we've got those in the right position. So we're just around the other side of here. Look, I'm carrying the shower frame up in here. You can do that or you can put it under your bed where it will be when we give the camper to you. Same thing here, you just got to pull it over that edge, but you just got to make sure that that canvas is not over the top of that or over the top of your F bracket. If it is, you're going to tear the canvas, okay? So just make sure it's down in between here. I'll just go a little bit further until the legs come down. I'll just fold them down. And they're fully adjustable, so if you've got a high ute, you can adjust them to whatever you want. I'm a lazy person, and this is about where I actually like to connect them up, okay? Do that, and you can connect these ones up as well. Just don't do any of those yet, you have to do them at the last, okay? And then we'll go the rest of the way. So as you can see, we're a fair way off the ground there, so I'll just pick it up a little bit and then reposition the legs. We're on a bit of a slope here. So if that usually happens, what I do is just find a bit of a rock or a bit of timber and just put underneath it if it is a problem. That's it. So once it's down in that position, a couple of things you should just do. Well, one thing is definitely go around and turn the remote control receiver off. If you don't do that, you'll be lying in bed and then you can be pressing the button in there, okay? The other thing for that is if you don't turn it off, if you're in a caravan park or a campground or something and there's another Travelander pool in there, there's only so many coatings we can do in these remote control receivers and remotes. It could be the same remote. I'm not quite, there could be a chance. So just make sure that you do definitely turn that power off, because if you're trying to have a sleep in the morning and the other Travelander wants to take off early, you're going to get a rude awakening. A couple other things, once you've gone around and done all your bungee cords up, you can undo this. Two things you can do with this. You can actually pole it out if you want to. Out here, it gives you a bit more shade. There's an inner skin, there's an inner canvas here as well, which is rolled up at the moment. So if it starts raining, you can just zip that up from the inside. The other thing you can do, and this is what I usually do because I don't like getting poles out and ropes and pegs and all that type of thing, and a lot of places where you go these in out west, wherever, you can't get a peg in the ground. So you want something simple and easy, and like once this is fully up, there's no pegging out, no adjustments or anything to be made. So this is what I usually do, just tie that up like that. But one thing to get into the habit of is when you roll that back down, you've seen I undid 2 half hitches. Just redo that when you roll it back down, zip it up, and do the 2 half hitches on the rope. The reason being is if the wind's blowing, it'll blow it out of that eyelet up there, and you've got to get up there and actually try and put it back in, or try and work it out how it goes as well. Shower cubicle, we'll set that up in a minute and we'll show you that. That's what usually happens here. This one comes out and actually comes around. And then we've got our framework what goes into that there. And then the shower cubicle goes here, the 900 by 900. We'll show you that in a minute. I'll just connect these up. There we go. And that's all done. We'll come around the back here and I'll just show you a couple other things. Now if you want to set the awning up, that just zips on across here. That's the standard one that you'll get in the camper unless you option up for the large awning. And we'll show you how to set it up in a minute. The side window over there is pretty much the same as this one here. I'll just canvas over the edge to make it watertight. Same with this one here, we can pole this out if you want to. Just pole it out here and that gives you access to that window and you don't have to zip it up if it's raining because you're under the cover here. The other option is, and this is how I mainly travel because I'm shifting every day, I'll just, when I fold that out, you saw that this roll was actually up in there. What I do then is when I pull up, I'll just actually pull that up and just tie it off down to my rope rail here. 2 half hitches and done. Try and do this because if you don't, and if you're lying in bed at night time, you'll be laying there and then the wind gets up and it's just going to grab that and it's just going to be flapping around and then you're going to have to get out of bed to come and anchor it down then. So may as well do it when you set up, it's that easy. So. Now we've folded the camper out and we're inside here. As you can see, you can leave your bed fully made up, you can leave your pillows there as well, but best bet to actually pull your pillows back about 300mm off the back wall there, or the side wall. The reason being is that's where all the canvas has got to lay around the edge there. You can actually put like table and solars in the centre here, but it just has to be in the centre, that's all. We've got the bungee loops in here. They're just helping, you can actually see them sucking the canvas in. So all you got to do is just release them when you come inside. I just leave them drop down. That's all I do when I go to come into the camper. You see the doors, we just chuck them up over the second bungee loop here and just gets them up out of the road. You can leave them rolled up here, but the problem is it's 2 round clumps of canvas, and it's a little bit more tucking in involved when you go to fold the camper up. This carbon fibre one, we have actually fitted an extra USB and cigarette sockets up in here as well. There's bed reading lights up in there. The switch for the bed reading light is actually on the head of this light, okay? So same with those ones there, you can actually just release them once you come inside here to go to bed. We've got access to your switch panel from inside. You'll get to know which switch is what. So had some people put a picture here of their the switch panel and label it so they know when they're reaching in there what's what. But if you go to bed and you've left your pump on or whatever, you can actually just reach through and turn it off. Or if it gets cold during the night and you want to turn the heater on, just reach through there, turn the first switch on, turns the heater on, and then just turn the little fan heater on down in there. So that gives you access to there, and you can access into your pantry from the inside as well as the outside. So if the weather's bad and you just want to cook inside. We've utilised every bit of space in here, so that's just a little access hatch. There's another one down in here, so you can put your shoes and stuff down in there. There's a little access hatch as well. And we do supply you a cover to cover the ram here, so that just slips on there, okay? And the Velcro piece you can see here actually just goes to the bottom, because you can Velcro it around there if you want. But that's how it goes there. Just slip it over the top and drop it on there. This is a drop-down platform for the person sleeping this side can actually walk along and go to bed without climbing across each other. So that's it. So you can actually walk up the stairs, then go along here and then go into bed. The other thing you can use it for is just like a bit of a bench, stuff like that. Because we've got our drawers under here. We can option up for lockable, as this carbon fibre one has got. We've got lockable in here. Just lift that open and then you slide your drawer out. Okay, so that accesses all your clothes, so you can access them inside and outside. So it's a two-way drawer. This other drawer is exactly the same, this one here. But remember, this one here we've actually cut down, but your drawers will actually be full length, the same length as this drawer here, and same again, closed drawer, and it'll go out the other side as well, even with the cut down one. What we'll do there, down in here we've actually got storage down in there. I'll go around the other side and I'll just pull those drawers out so we can look down in there, and I'll be back. Okay, now I've opened up the side door there to get that access into there. So down in here, there's plenty of room from the floor to underneath that drawer. It's actually the exact height for a 30 pack of beer. You can get 5 cartons in there, so that's plenty for you. Down in this area here, this is where all the workings of the camper is. This here we've got the Urshabaka diesel hot water system. So what it does is actually burns diesel to heat glycol. Glycol is in the tank over here, so that's radiator fluid, same thing. So what it does is heat the glycol to 70 degrees, then it'll shut off, and if it gets below a certain temperature it'll just kick back in automatically. So you can leave it running all night and all it's just doing is cycling in and out. Even if you do leave it running all night, it'll only burn under a litre of diesel, so really economical. So with that glycol there, it's in the tank here, 70 degrees. It goes to this part here, which is a heat exchanger. So what that does is it's got glycol in one set of plates, and then it's got cold water and then glycol, and so there's a series of plates there. With that there, so you got cold water at the top, and when it comes out the bottom it's actually hot. So you got hot water to your shower and to your sink. So it's a continuous flow hot water. It's not a storage capacity, okay? For this burner to heat that glycol up to that 70 degrees, it will take around about 15 to 20 minutes depending on ambient temperature. So just keep that in mind. Once the glycol has left the heat exchanger, it'll actually then go to the fan heater here. So we've just got a 2-speed fan here, and that's just going to be, that's exactly the same as the heater in your car. It's actually like like a plate, and then the fan's just blowing through it and making it hot air all inside of here, okay? So back into here, this particular camper we've put a water filtration unit on here, so you can have that optioned up if you want to. but that's only filtering the water to the sink there, so you've got nice clean water. We've got the water pump there, so that's quite a large shore flow pump, and that's because we've got the shower on there. All the wiring's all there as well, and there is fuses in line, but there's no real need. I've never had an issue with them blowing or anything like that. With the shower, so just pop that out, just pull that out. That'll actually go through this cavity here and then go outside. So just turn that off. Go into your shower cubicle, which we'll set up. Now, with that there, when you're travelling, just make sure that these taps are off. The reason being is if you slide this back in here and you have it out too far or something and you close it, it's going to activate the switch, and if you've got those taps on, it's just going to flood your camper and also empty your tank, which you're not going to be happy about. So that's pretty much it for the drawer side of things. With the tent side of things, a bit of maintenance with the tent. With your zippers, just try and silicone spray your zippers. They'll just run a lot freer, and try and do this every 3 months. The other thing you can silicone spray is all the rubbers all the way around the camper. It just keeps them nice and soft and stops them from oxidizing. Yeah. With the tent, we have to, it's always best to actually season it. So by seasoning it, it's nothing to do with the canvas side of things. It's to do with the thread, the stitching that we use. Our canvases, the machine makes a hole through the canvas, which is a little bit bigger than the thread, pulls the thread through. And what we're wetting it for is actually for that thread to actually swell up to take that hole of the needle. Wetting of the canvas has got nothing to do with the canvas. The canvas is Wax Converters canvas from Maitland down in Newcastle, near Newcastle there. And it's wax pressed into the fabric, so it's a really, really good canvas, and that's what we've always used. But the thread here is a turquoise thread, and that's what you're really wetting. When you do wet it, you've got to wet it, let it dry, wet it, let it dry 3 times, preferably a day each wetting. Leave plenty of time for drying in each time. But when you wet it, we have a tropical roof over the main tent here, so when you're wetting the roof area here, you've got to make sure that you actually get water in between the tropical roof and the main tent. It's because we've got stitch lines up where the bows are here and that, and you just got to be careful of that. So just make sure you're just well and truly wet up in between the tropical roof and the main tent. So all I'd recommend you to do is just set the camper up as it is now, with the windows up, doors zipped up, canvas over the edge, and just give it a hose down. No need to condition the awning or anything like that. It's just the tent, okay? We do wax certain areas, which is up in the corners up there for people who just come up to us, pick the camper up from us, and then go travelling straight away. Or it's also, you might pick your camper up from the agent and then take it home, put it in the shed, and forget to condition it. And I'm sure you don't want to leaking on you the first day or whatever. So that's why we wax them in certain areas, so for that reason. Folding them up wet, you can fold them up wet. If you're travelling, just I just carry a tarp in my trundle tray if it is raining, just to cover my bed, but make sure you tuck it in. And when you get to your next destination, you just fold the camper out. It doesn't matter if the camper's wet and it stays wet and it's open for a long period of time. That's not a problem. It's if you close this up and leave it closed up for a long period of time with damp canvas, I'll guarantee you'll go mouldy. Okay, so once it goes mouldy, it's not good. You've got to get rid of it, or get rid of the mould, or if you don't get rid of the mould, it rots, and then you're up for a new tent. Okay, so not good. So try and look after it, air it out when you're at home and stuff like that. So We do use midget-proof screens, the superfine mesh all through this, and that's on all the windows, the doors and all that, and you can actually get a midget screen for your small awning and your big awning out in the kitchen area. When you're going to close this up, this is a must. You must fold this up. If you don't fold it up, you're going to drive these legs through the floor, okay? This will get up to and touch that, and then this ram here is still pulling nearly a ton of force, and when it's pulling a ton of force, it's actually going to just drive them through the floor until it gets to its current sensing limiter. So make sure you when you go to fold it up, fold that table up and make sure it's definitely folded up. Nothing's down in this area down in here, okay, because it will jam up with the stairs and also jam up in the actuator. And you must remove this to actually fold the camper up. You don't want that getting jammed down in that cavity down there. Once that's in there, that's all I do is just chuck it up on the top of the bed. If you do use it, most of the time when I'm travelling I don't use it, it's just virtually at shows, at the end of shows I'll put it up there. Also when you're folding this up, this lid's coming up, you got to make sure that this hoop here, never ever, so this point here, never comes in contact with down on the floor, with the sail track down on the floor. If it does, what'll happen, it'll lock up, the lid's coming up, that bow stays still, and it'll actually lock up, and then this same, like I said before, this thing's got a capability of a ton. It'll actually keep pulling the pressure off on, and I have seen them crack the lid through here, okay, so that's the weakest point right through there. So that's the reason why we've got these bungee cords attached up here. They're under a lot of pressure. Always make sure that they're connected, and then over time, if they start getting a bit perished or lost their elasticity, just replace them. It's not much to replace them. So, and when you're folding this up, you should see all that tent moving back without having to push it or anything like that. So that's it in here. That's it for the folding up, what needs to be done when you fold it up. Yeah, we're just going to set the shower cubicle up. I've just got the rails out on the floor in here earlier. This part here, I've actually, when I travel, I have it at 180 degrees just laying back in here, or you can have it underneath your mattress where it'll be when we give the camper to you. Now what happens here, these two pieces actually just come together, like so, and then it just goes up into the holes up in here, okay? In there, okay? I've got the shower cubicle out here. Once you've got that, you'll see the zipper where you actually got to put the shower through. That's got to be over in this corner here, okay? So that tells me at this corner here, and you've got Velcro flat here, which actually lines up with this Velcro here. There we go. Just had the wrong Velcro. So that one goes up under there. Once you've got that attached to there, on the side here you got that Velcro there, and that will line up with the Velcro on the door. So all I do is just do that. That way once you're in the shower you can actually walk through there and no one's going to see you when you go inside. So we do have little cords on the bottom so you can peg out the base of the shower if you want. If it's not blowing, there's probably not much use. All I do is on the floor, I actually put a foam square on the floor. Okay? I'm just going to Velcro down this side in here. that's it. Okay. As you can see, we've got a bit of wind here and it's blowing the thing in, so you can just put a couple of pegs on the base of it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to remove this, because I need to show you when you've got it on its legs what needs to be done with that. So I'll just unvelcro it now. Apply your bag with this. So what I usually do is just fold it up roughly, stuff it in the bag, and that's because it's wet. Stays there, so you don't get the dampness through the camper. Okay, this is where when you've got it standing on its legs. Okay? I'm just going to remove this framework here. So when you've got it on its legs, this part here will be in the opposite position, so you can't actually put that shower piece over the top. So that's where this piece comes into it. You get supplied this with it. So when you go to freestand it and put your leg in there, so once you've got that and you've got your pin, just put that up into there. Put it into the position there. That locks it into place, and then you can actually put this on top. That duplicates what that is, okay? And then that's why there's two sets of holes there as well. You've got holes up in here where you put the other pin in. So you'd shift that across to there, and then do your shower cubicle up onto there. And that's it. So when you pack up, just drop them off. And like I said, you can either store that underneath your mattress where it is when you give the camper to you, or I'm going to put it in the position where I usually do. If you put it in this position, it would pay to actually run the bungee cord from the other side back to your headboard to stop it from rattling. I'll just put that in there for now. That's it, it's back on. And this here can actually go into your front drawer, so just pull it apart and just go like that. Got the awning out of its bag, and we've got the poles here ready, and also we've got 5 ropes here, and also 5 pegs. That's all you need if you want to do this. You can actually do it as more of a quick awning, and just actually do 2 poles here. You put the pole in this position here on the outside one, and drop them to the ground. Just for the 2-pole setup. We're going to actually fully set it up, and if you ever get a Mickey wall set, we'll show you how to set that up as well. So what I'm going to do now is I just go around and place the pegs and ropes in position. So I know where everything's going to go. I've done it quite a few times. Do that. Once I've done that, I'll actually hit the holes out. soft ground here. Push that in there. Doesn't happen too often. Get that ready. We just get the annex here and we just spread it out. Starting with the zip open in this corner here. Usually have to stand up on the lid. Start the zipper. What you want to do here is just try and fit this out a bit even. And just hold it up with one hand and it'll just zip along a lot easier. Silicone spray on the zipper will go a long way too. Just make it zip along a lot easier. So let's just start with this one first. It'll actually set the rest up a lot easier and just make it level. Press studs along here, you can actually, like I said, you can press stud down the side of the thing here if you want to. But you can just go along and just velcro this on properly. Just stops the rain and the wind pushing in. You don't have to do this. I'm going to start in the centre here first, pull them out, and then we'll do the outside ones last. Same as when you're setting the big awning up, you actually start in the centre first. Usually you'd have to give it 100. Lock them down. Twisted. What I just did there is just that way you can get the height exactly the same. It doesn't really matter how you get these all lined up or not, but we just get into a habit of it. We can go to the shows and all that. You see what I'm doing here? We'll just put the pole in and just lean it out. Just that way you can get the rope onto it and it's not going to fall back on itself. These corner ones we actually just put out in an angle. That way you don't need double rope on it. You can put double rope in if you want to. So with the pegs you've got to put in the ground, less ropes, better. One today. That's just when I'm doing this. It's okay on a day like today, but if it is raining, what I usually do is put the two centre ones, so this one here and this one here, up higher, then the water can run off both sides. But just remember that if it's raining that night, just drop your, put your two centre ones up high. And there we have it. There's the awning. Go up a little bit higher. And do the final adjustment. That's it. Then you can access your kitchen. You're all one cover. Now this is a 2-metre awning by the full width of the camper. As you can see, it comes out with the close to that width there. And like I said, if this goes, you extend these up, they'll actually just for the water to run off either side. So that's it, and then we'll put the midges up. What we've done here, this is the 2 metre, the small awning that you get with the camper standard. Like I said, you can option up to the larger awning that sits on across the main roof line, and it comes out 2.4 metres. Now with that one there, it's a different kit again, but same front panel and gasket and that. But you can see the end walls are different because it's 2.4 metres opposed to 2 metres. The way you should start setting this up, as you can see, we've got all the pieces laid out. I don't usually lay it out like this, I just put them out so you can understand. What I'll do is I actually start from this panel here. And you start from one side and you work your way around. Okay? Whatever you do, you never ever start in two positions. You'll never ever get to line up. So I just start up here and join it up. You do have extra poles to go in here if you want to, just to stop that sagging. There is a flap on the bottom here, so you can actually dig a trench around here if you want to. Lay that in and backfill it. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to kick it down, and I'm going to stand. We're going to have that out there because you can actually put a bungee loop through these and put a peg in it. Now this wall here should be out on an angle like that, not straight, okay, because it follows the shape of the actual tent. Yeah, have a look at this. Just come in here and it becomes quite a large area. It's 2 metres by 5.4 metres, and it's fully midgie proof. And you know, if we wanted to peg it all out, yeah, make it all look a bit neater and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're after one, this is the full midgie screens for the small awnings. Okay, so it's all super fine too. So. Stops all your midgies. Yeah, well, and that's it. Mosey on out. Okay, well we're going to go set up the large awning now, the 2.4. If you've optioned that up, I've got it out here. That's the awning there, and we've got all the full wall kit here. If you've optioned up for a full wall kit, and we're just going to demo that. I've got all the poles and the pegs and ropes here ready to go. I'm just going to go out and place them into their position at the moment. So there's one here, one in the corner. There's another one which goes here. There, and there. There is another one that goes in the centre there, but I'm going to use that to actually stand it up. But what I'll do first, I'm just going to shift this wall kit out of the road. And what I usually do first is I'll actually take around about 3 paces out from the centre pole, because that's where you want the peg and the rope to go for the centre pole. So we're just going to do this roughly for now. Now I'm going to put that in the ground because that's the first pole you actually stand up once you actually got the annex up. I'll go around and position these others. In the corners you run a double. Okay. Once we've got these into position, I'll actually get the annex and we'll fold it out. I'll just explain there's a couple of ways of attaching this annex. Okay. What I usually do here is just roll it all out on the ground first. Obviously face up. Just get it over to there. Now this one way I'm going to show you how to zip it on. I will need an assistant because it is a 2-person operation. The other way is if you don't want to involve someone else, we do sell these ladders. Now these ladders are nice and compact and they fold out to quite a large one. And you can put this here and you can zip it on yourself. But I'm just going to put that underneath there. So that's the second option you can do to zip the awning on. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start the zipper in the corner over here, and you just got to get it over this corner here, and then I'll put a pole through the eyelet of the zipper, and that's when the assistant needs to step in, because we need to hold that side there up high so we have the 2 zippers running parallel. If you don't do it, the one of the zippers will be hanging down. It's hard to push along. So I'll just get this started and then I'll call. Just getting it started and getting it over that in that corner is the harder thing. Once you get it around that corner, it's all good. You see what I've done here, I've actually put a pole through the eyelet of the zipper and I've actually extended it to the ground. So that way I can just be in position and then I'll get this other pole and this one over here. You can do it by yourself, but you actually have to put a rope and peg out. What I'll do here is I'll get Mark to come over. And so what we need to do is just follow that zip line. So we've got to hold this up just like that. Okay? So, and then as soon as I get to that apex there, that's when Mark will drop that and then I'll go the rest of the way down. Okay, Mark will drop that down now. When he drops that down, what we need to do is actually kick it underneath this flap here. I've extended that down to the ground, that pole, so it doesn't go unzipped. But we need to get it underneath that flap so I can just get it over that apex and then hopefully keep going along. Get in there, Mark?
Yep.
So I'm just going to release the pole now. Just pull that belt through. I'll just grab that pole again. Just going to have to get that back through that eyelet. And we'll just get Mark to hold that awning over. Sometimes these awnings do not line up because, especially when they're making this tent here, to make that exactly the same length all the way, very, very hard. What you can do then is just go along and just press the Velcro down if you want to. There's no real need for it. I don't usually worry about it. But what I'll do now is, remember that first peg and rope I put in? That's where we need to put this. So what I'll do here first is actually extend this up to that height, which is the apex. And then there's a pocket inside the awning here. See there? That's where the pole's just got to go up in there. That's it. So what I'll do here is just twist it around and get the rope onto him. Have to lengthen him a bit. Okay, so that's the first pole you always start with. Never ever try and start from the corners, you'll be fighting it all day long. So what I'll do now is actually go into this corner. This is the one where we'll put the double guide rope on. Just with the double guide rope, it will actually pull a lot straighter. The ground is very, very soft here, so I won't put too much pressure on it. We've got another pole that actually goes in here. Usually we'd have ropes and pegs on this awning here as well, anchoring that down. If the wind got up, they'd come out off of there and then be flapping around. So I'm only going to peg this one for now, just for the demonstration of putting the annex roof and walls up. And same with this one here. I'm not going to put a peg and rope on it, but I'd advise to put a peg and rope on it if you're camping, okay? We're just setting this up and then we're just going to pull it back down again. So that's it. A lot of people ask me, how do I get that valance along there straight? That shows, and the reason is you always got to start with that centre pole. Get it out first, then work your corners from that. If you try and do your corners, it's just going to not work out for you. Then you're going to be there all day long and you'll be asking me that question at the show. Now, then we'll start with the just chuck that away. How long did that take us, Mark?
12 minutes.
12 minutes to set the annex up. Pretty much by myself, except for getting Mark to hold that flap up there. So I'm just getting the other parts out of the bag here. Okay. I know that one there is that doorway there, okay? And then this one here is that one there. I've been doing it long enough, I think I know what bits are going where. This one here is the one that goes across the back here. Okay. I don't have press studs on this camper because me myself, I don't believe in setting all these walls and everything up. I go on holidays to have a holiday, not to be setting up all this stuff. Anyway, some of you who do want it, it's all there for you. I'm just going to put it into the door so you get the idea of it. Okay. The silver flap on the bottom is designed to actually be there if you want to dig a trench and you don't get water inside the camp, inside your living area here. Now what I do here, like I put that draft skirt along there. So this is the wall to start with first. We'll just start here and work our way around. If you try and do it any other way, it's just not going to line up. That's the big wall, I know that there. And this is that other wall on the other side. I'm just doing this pretty quick, only because we're running out of light here. Now this wall here will be on an angle to follow exactly the same angle as the camper is sitting. So that's why this wall here is longer than the other wall on the other side. The other side is just straight down. When you get the full wall kit, we do supply a full lot of pegs and bungee loops and stuff like that. And that's the angle of that should be on there, okay? I'll put this one up. Just peel that one back a little bit because it's just got to overlap, that 50 mil. All I'm doing here is just putting the poles on the actual valance there. There you go. Second last panel. And there we go. All done. I've just lowered these posts here to actually just make it all marry up and touch the ground a bit better. That's why with that silver flap on the bottom where you can dig the trench and you can backfill it. That way if you're, rainy weather or anything like that, you're out of it. So how long did that take? So
7
minutes.
7 minutes.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I've never known to do it that quick. That is done pretty quick. It's like, as you all know, I've been setting them up for a long time. But once you do that, yeah, you can put other guide ropes on, you can dig trenches, you can do all that, you can roll the things up, but 7 minutes to do that, not bad. Well, we're ready for the pack up of the new carbon fibre one, or the dual cab camper. And just a couple of things to remember. Internally, you've just got to that bed step, you got to lift that up, fold it away. Just make sure nothing's intruding into that where the ram is. Connect your bungee cords up, and then once you're outside here, is the next part is to go round and disconnect all the bungee cords from here and around, right around the other side. I'm just going to go around and do that. What I do here on this side, I actually pull that up so it makes a bit of a trough. So, because when I usually set up just for an overnighter, this is how I do it. I just pull that up, and then when I go to pack up, I just leave that roll down just into the trough that I've made with the valance, like that is there. And I'll just get the string and I'll just chuck it up into there, okay? And that's all good to go. Now, I'm just going to go around the other side and I'm going to undo the bungee cords, and I'll be back around here and we'll switch the remote on and then we'll fold him all up. Okay, as you can see, I haven't done the bungee cords here and out the other side yet. I don't usually do that. I do it when it's up at about 45 degrees. So now I've done everything. I've looked inside, I've double checked everything, and I'm happy with everything to start folding up. So I'll go around the other side here and turn the remote on. I have already done that, okay, so it's all operational. So I'm just going to go ahead and close it up. Now, the ram will pick the lid up and do the fold up by itself. But what I'm going to do is just show you what I do. It'll save your battery life for one thing, because from pickup to around about 45 degrees, 60 degrees, that's its maximum load. And if you can lighten that a little bit, you'll hear the motor, the change in the motor when I actually do that. So I'm just going to take it back down. So all I do is just a hand underneath it. I'm going to stop talking while you can actually hear the load of the motor. You hear that speed up there a little bit? That's only just one hand underneath it. No great effort or anything, but it's just going to save everything. So that's when I drop the little feet down, do these bungee cords here. Okay. As I said earlier, when I was folding it out, I'm a lazy person. I don't want to bend over. Drop them down. Now, very important at this point here, what we need to do, that's your first hoop. Would actually, that one there, which goes above your head when you're laying in bed. What we need to do, and it's a common fault with a lot of people, is you've got to get and tuck all this canvas in underneath that hoop, because when that hoop comes down, it's actually going to concertina the whole canvas down a lot easier. If you don't do that, what will happen when you go to close the lid up, it's going to be stopping around about here. And you'll see when I go to close this up, now I've got Duna's pillows and everything in there. Now you'll see when I close it up, it'll come right down to about there, okay? I'm just going to go around this side here and tuck it all in underneath that first hoop as well. I've got a bit of a ledge over here, like a bit of a step on the tray. And then I stay over this point here. A quick thing, I'm gonna, like a little tip, handy hint for you. If you got the wind blowing that way and it's pocketing out your tropical roof, you can just get a broom handle and just poke in the center. That'll actually stop that from puffing out this side and then trying to tuck it all in. The other thing you can do, because when you've got it up to a 45-degree angle, what you can do is just get in your car, turn your car so the wind's punching into it this way, okay? And the other thing we spoke about earlier about the bungee cords inside, which actually connect to the hoops. See all that's falling back? You've got to make sure that's happening. If it's not, it's going to come in contact with the lid right about now, and it's just going to keep going up, and then it's just going to jam up. Okay, I'm just going to keep going around, just tucking all that in. As I'm tucking in, I'm actually pulling the hoops down and pushing them down, see? And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk around this front side and I'll get the follower around with me. Just a couple of things we've just got to be careful of on this side here. Like if I kept going now, this canvas what is puckered out the side here, it's going to get squashed and create a hole. And the other thing, you've got to make sure this point here is very close to the edge of the lid internally here. If you've got that canvas over the edge like that is there, what'll happen there, it'll actually hit the teeth of the zipper and it'll just bugger the teeth of the zipper, and then you've got to take the whole tent off to fix it. And you're talking 10 hours labour to do that. So I'm sure you don't want to do that. So just get that and just kick it all the way in, okay? I'm just going to step up on my step here. If you've got running boards, you just step up on the running boards. So I'm just going to kick that over. Okay, that is like that. This point here, we've got to make sure that there's no canvas over this edge here. If there's canvas there and you travel for some time, could wear a hole in it. Now we'll go back around the back here. There's a couple of points. Same on this point here. This here, we've got to make sure that there's no canvas over that. That there is actually sitting just in here. So, and what happens there, if you've got that canvas bunched up on the end of there, it's going to get squashed and it's just going to sit there and rub and you'll get a hole in it. I'll guarantee it. So yeah, just clear that well and truly away from there. I tuck that up on top of the bed there, and I will lift the mattress a little bit later on. But what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go around and just pull that canvas down, okay? And I'll go around the front here and do the same. Okay, we'll take that a little bit further until that step comes in contact with the mattress, just like so, and just lift your mattress, okay, right up as like that, okay. And we'll just clear that away. I'm going to go to the front and we'll just check it as well. I do this all by myself. I don't involve my wife when it comes to closing up because I'm responsible for it. So it's best off just doing it one person. If you want to do it with two people, just as long as you're talking to each other, okay? I'm just going to, that's all good there. I'm happy with that. We'll get round the other side and tuck the rest of that in from the other side. From here, we're going to take this down a little bit further. This bit of canvas here has to be poked in here. So it's got to sit in between the bow bracket and the camper. So I'll just take him down a little bit further and just make sure that canvas is not caught in between the step and the actual mattress. Just going to stop him there. And this is where you just got to take your time, and the first couple of times you do it, you got to make sure that there's nothing poking out, because see that bungee cord there? If that's sitting on your seal there, you mightn't see it, but it's going to break your seal and you're going to get dust in and water in. So just until you get used to it, just take your time. And it's the biggest thing where a lot of people have a problem is they might see a storm coming or something like that and they want to pack up quickly. Don't rush it. You're better off taking your time, and then you won't cut any canvas or do any damage. Okay? You can do all that just with a broom if you want to, or you can use one of the poles. Right at this last stage, this is where I actually take it a little bit further, and then I'll actually give that a pull. Okay, just pull down on there, and you'll see how much that has come down. Now we just do the sequence in doing the clips up. The first clip here I do is this one here. Okay, then I'll go to the front one in the same position. I'll go around here and I do this one up. That pulls the lid over that little bit further on the seal, so it's a little bit tighter. Now these two here are the very last clamps that you do up, okay? What I usually do then, I'll come around to the front here. Do that one up. Do that one. And these last two here. And there's just one very important last thing to do, and that's turn your remote off. And that's located up into here. So come around to here and we'll actually just flip that back into the center, which is the left hand switch, put it in the center, and that's off. So now I press that button, nothing will happen, okay? So we're all safe. So that's it. That's opening, closing, fitting the annex and all that, the full workings of the camper. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you out on the road. Well, here we are, we're all fully set up here at and we've got the camper on the vehicle. We get a lot of people asking, oh, the only problem with this is, you know, once you're fully set up and you want to take your vehicle out from underneath it and go to the shops and grab some milk, or you want to go full driving, or you want to put your boat in the water, they think that you're stuck. You're not stuck. Now this is all fully set up like this. We could have table and chairs here and all that. I'm going to actually show you how to freestand this when you've got all the annex all out, and you don't have to pack the whole thing up to actually freestand it and put it on its legs. So we're going to go about it. We're just going to film me as I'm doing this, okay, and you'll see how it's all done. Just releasing these, you have to release these, because what I'm going to do is actually just fold the lid up to around about 45-degree angle. You need to do that to actually get this arm out of here, and then turn it 180 degrees to put your leg in. So that's why I'm disconnecting these. If I don't and I try and press a button and I leave that connected, that's just going to pull like that and then pop the bungee loop out of the button there. So I'm going to go around the other side, and we're just going to do the same thing there. Now I've got the remote in my pocket. I've already turned the remote switch on over there. You leave all your poles up here. Just close your kitchen as you've seen there. I'll lift this up. If you want to, you can give it a helping hand. The camper will do it all itself, but I like to give it a helping hand. It just makes it go a little bit quicker and easier. The other reason why we have to take this up like this, if you did leave this down, for one thing, you can't get this bracket out of here and turn it 90 degrees and then put your leg in. The other reason too, we want to get this side of the lid away from the side of your ute. Otherwise, if you do try and do it and lower this lid down, you're just going to scratch the side of the lid, because the side of your tray is going to drag along the edge. So I'm just going to take that a little bit further, just so I can slide that out. I'm probably not going to get it at that point there. Just going to pop this off now. I just leave that hang there. 180 degrees. Like I said, with this one here, we've got to have it all the way in. If I had that out there, this lid's going to come down and hit there, and it's going to damage the side of your camper. Okay? So all the way in, and then we'll grab a leg and put it on there. Just going to do the same on this side here. With the straps, it's very quick and easy to actually release them, rather than the bolts and nuts and stuff like that. Some people like to bolt them on. You can bolt it if you want to. It's just going to take you a lot longer to actually freestand it. I'm going to go around the front here, and I'm just going to do the same with the front. I'm just going to leave that hang like that. This one here, just bring it out 180 degrees, put it back in. Make sure you remember
to release your power lead. If you forget to release your power lead and you drive out from underneath it, you're going to rip this out, okay? So remember to release that. Okay? Once I've done that, grab the legs out, grab a pin. I'm just going to pop that one in there. I always go the bottom hole, okay? And lower this down to suit the ground height. Once you've got that leg down on the ground, we just pull this leg back to the front of the vehicle and just wind it up a little bit so it takes the weight of the camper. Then I'll move to the back leg here, chuck in on, and lower this down to the ground height. Same again with this rear one, we actually pull it away from the, to the rear of the camper. That way the front leg and the rear leg fight against each other. So we'll take it down, just take a little bit of pressure off. There we go. Just lifting off the tray there a little bit. Going to grab another leg. Lower this one down to the ground as well. Pull it, same again, I've just got my foot on there to pull the leg towards the rear of the camper. Lower it down to the ground. Same thing, just take a little bit of weight up. Now this you can actually do with a battery drill. We're going to show you that also later. Just going to grab the last leg. And we'll take it round to the front. Here I'm just going to release the strap, drop him down like that. This gets pulled out, turn it 180 degrees. Slide him back in. Once you've done that, I always just go to the bottom hole. And just remember the winder has to be to the front, okay? On this corner here, especially. I'm just going to go to the bottom hole again and put this down to the ground. I'll just go to the third hole there and just wind it down to the ground. Pull the leg towards the front of the vehicle, so this is the front legs to the front of the vehicle and rear legs to the rear of the vehicle. Now you'll notice I've got this out a fair bit from the side of the ute. That's just so you can wind the handle at a nice comfortable distance and you're not going to hit your knuckles, okay? Just going to wind that up so it's just off the tray a little bit, and then I'm going to go around the other side. We're going to wind it about 10 winds each leg, and just remembering not to put too much pressure on one leg, okay? Or otherwise you're going to put too much pressure on the gears inside and break the shear pin in there, okay? We'll go around the other side and we'll just take it up nice and easy. There we go, just around about the 10 winds. I'm not counting, but we'll get there. As you can see, we're probably around about the 40 mil off the tray there at the rear here, and then at the front, I'm going to take the front up a little bit higher, only because the back of the tray is up a little bit more because you got the weight off it. So I'll go to the front corner here and we'll just take it up a little bit more. Okay, in the front here we're probably going to be about 100 mil. We'll go to the other corner and we'll just take it up a little bit more. So that's about the 100mm there. So now I'm just going to drive out from underneath it, just remembering to disconnect your Anderson lead, okay? We'll just drive out from under it. Go to the next one. You can do the two front ones if you want, and then do that, or you can just walk around the camper. Okay, just a little handy hint. We're on solid ground here, but if you are on sand or if the ground is soft, if it's been raining, just make sure you put your feet on actual ply or something like that, a bigger surface area, so you spread the load out a lot better and your foot's not going to sink into the ground, okay? We're just going to go to the front corner there. I'm just going to go straight across to the other side, and we're going to lower the front a little bit first, okay? Okay, now this is probably around about the right height, okay? So that's about my belt height here, and that's about where you want to have it, okay? Now we'll just go around and just square the thing up. We'll go to the rear and just lower the rear down. Now, a good way to actually tell if it's going to be square, go off your door gaps. If you come around here, you actually see this door gap move quite a lot, okay? See, I'm winding that down, that door gap's getting bigger, okay? That's going to tell you, you know, if you've got it pretty much level. So, see, at the moment it's touching down here and wide gap up the top. So if I wind that down, you'll see that move, okay? And there we've got it around about right, okay? So that's at around like a good comfortable height. Then you can actually fold this back open. Whoop, we didn't lock the kitchen in place. We can put this down. What I'll do now is I'll actually fold the camper back down to the ground, and then you're stationary, okay? And you've got all your annex still all set up. Just remember, like I said, with this leg here, just got to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere near the side of your ute here, side of the camper. Otherwise you're going to punch a hole into it, okay? So that's it. Folding taking the camper off the back of the ute while you're fully set up with the annex and all that. Now, that didn't take too long, not much of an effort. Now my vehicle is all free. I can actually use it to put my boat in and out of the water. I can go into town, grab some necessities or whatever, or I can go up into the high country, go touring around. I've got a base camp now and everything's all set up back here. And this camper here the whole thing will keep running. So water is in the camper, your batteries are in the camper, your hot water system, your shower, everything is in the camper. So you do not need your vehicle underneath it to use it. So here we have a fully set up camper base. We don't need the vehicle, and we can go around exploring the countryside. Hope you enjoyed. Now, if I was actually going to put this back on my ute and I knew I was leaving, what I would do is I'd actually pack up the whole camper. I'd take the awning off and close the camper up. Then I'd lift the camper up a little bit higher, then back my ute in underneath it and lower it back down. So we'll do that. We'll close all the camper up and then we'll show you how to back in underneath him. We've just got to lift him up that little bit so we can actually back the vehicle underneath him, because we haven't got the weight on the vehicle. It's up that little bit higher, so you'll get used to it. Once you've done it a few times, you'll get to know the height. So otherwise just come across do a marker roughly like that. So that's about how high we've got to come up. So what I'm going to do is just do each leg individually. So around about those 10 winds each one. Okay. So we're roughly about the height that we want to be. We'll just back now and we'll just see how it's lining up. Might have to go up that little bit more, but we'll just check it out. Okay, I'm happy with it there. I'm a little bit too far back, but it doesn't matter. We've got a little bit of movement on the camper, we can actually move it around. Now, if your camper is too far to the right hand side and you need it to come to the left hand side, what you'd do is actually lower these two jacks here and the whole camper would come this way. We're pretty well spot on there. If anything, I've got to make the camper go that way a little bit. So I would actually lower the legs on the other side first to get it over that little bit. And same as if I want to go forward, I actually lower the two front legs and the whole camper will go forward. And also I want to go back, so I'll actually lower the back just so I can get it back and over that side a little bit. I'll go around the other side. I've left the handle over there, so we'll start there. Once you've had it on your ute a couple of times, you'll actually see wear marks in your tray where the rubber underneath has been sitting. So I'm a little bit off there, so like I said, I'm just going to wind this side down that little bit. Okay, just a little bit on that one. I'll do a little bit on this one, just let it come over that little bit further. You can see that camper moving across, and it just makes it that lot easier to do. Once it's just about off the tray, and then that's when you actually want to, if you have to back your vehicle back a little bit to make it move, that's the point when you want to do it. If you've got a tray like mine's a 7-foot tray on this cruiser here, I've actually got a stopper here for the actual base of the camper to stop up against. You can use that to actually square your camper up, and you'll find it a lot easier that way. So I'm just going to actually pull on this a little bit, okay? And that actually pulled it across, and then it's up against this front little buffer plate, okay? Now I'm going to go around the other side, and I'm just going to lower them down. Starting at the rear here, I'll lower this one down a little bit. Now I'm just coming down on top of that buffer plate. I'm just going to just push him off him a little bit and then go the rest of the way down. Now I've got the front all the way down now, sitting nice and neat. I'll take all the weight off this leg now because I'm actually quite happy where that camper's sitting. I'll wind this leg all the way up. Okay, comes to a stop. I'll actually do this pin first. The reason being, if you take this pin out and you drop that one out, the leg's going to drop. I've seen people take their fingers, the end of their fingers, cutting them, okay? So always put your bottom foot up first, and then all it is then, just drop your pin. I always put my pin back in the leg, okay? And then that way I know where it is all the time, okay? I'll just sit it here, and then we'll pack him away shortly, okay? I'll show you how to pack them away because there is a sequence of how to pack them away as well. I'll drop this one down. You can see I'm holding the little part of the handle in. because Mark, our cameraman, knows well about that. And if you're not and you're swinging up really hard, it comes off, it's going to come around and whack you in the face, okay? Just a little handy hit. Just put your finger over there and you'll just hold that in place, okay? It hurts, eh, mate?
A lot.
So same again, I'm just bringing that bottom foot up. Put that in. Same thing again. Pull that out. Put him back in there. I'll put him there and we'll pack that all the way. Now it might look like I'm doing this a little bit quick. Just remember I've done it many times. It'll take you a while to get used to it. But like I say with everything, don't rush it, just take your time with it and you'll get your own rhythm of how to do it. Now you've just noticed how I'll back that off again. I've actually just taken that leg out of there, bring it around 90 degrees and slide it back in so it's running along the edge of your tray. And that's where your strap's going to go back up to, okay? Straight onto there and we'll ratchet him down. Okay, you can cut these off to the length you want. I've cut them off on my ute here, only because it's always on this ute. These straps stay with it. And there's no need to fold them all up again, you know. So that's that on the rear there. Just got one more leg here to do. Go, drop that bottom foot again. Yeah, while we're here, I'll just show you this one here. Like, all you do here is just pull that out, turn him around 180 degrees, slide him back in. I've left the strap there so I can actually just hook him back up again. Okay. Same thing, I've cut these straps shorter, so you can do the same if you want. Okay, we'll go around and we'll show you how to pack these legs in. Now in the camper here, this is where the legs can go here, or if you don't have the generator aircon here, you can actually put the legs here, but you just make sure you protect your red arc system here so they're not bashing up against it. But there is a sequence to putting these legs in. The first one, I always put the foot first in, okay? And we'll put him up. We'll just put him in there in that position there, okay? The next one I'll do, I'll actually turn it around. So we actually put the winder up first and the foot out last, okay? And I'll just tuck him in there so it actually locks in beside each other. Next one I do, foot first, again, and put him in that way. Okay. And the last one, we actually just put up on top of it, and we just reverse him around again so the leg is out, and just put him in that way. Slide him up on top, and he can sit there. Now if you've got your peg bag and stuff, you can actually put your peg bag in the end here, just to stop them from sliding around. Me personally, trips up Cape York, Simpson Desert and all that, I don't take these legs. They're 14 kilo each, they're quite heavy, and it gives you a little bit more storage space, okay? But everyone's got their own way of travelling, okay? If you're travelling on the road for quite some time, yeah, you might take the legs with you. We've just got these last two to go. We've just got to grab that and actually turn it around that 180 degrees and slide him back in. But before you do that, we'll just come around here. Just make sure you get your Anderson plug. It's a lot easier to do it Now, before you slide this in, just plug that into car there, okay? And then you can put your leg in, like that, clamp him on. You've got one more last one at the rear here. Oh, we've tightened that up, so we just have to back that rear locking nut off. Turn him around against the tray again like that is there. I'll just put that back in there. Just loosen this one off a little bit. Put him in and just ratchet him up. Now that's it. Now that's on the back of my ute, all clamped down.